The midterms are over. The new Congress has been sworn in. So now, the question shifts from what happened in 2016 to what'll happen in 2020. Despite Donald Trump defying all odds before, there might be a model that shows a path for Democrats to beat him. The 2014 gubernatorial election in Illinois arguably signaled a Trump presidency, and the 2018 results could be just as telling for 2020.
Let's shake up Springfield. Let's bring back Illinois.
Drain the swamp in Washington.
Jobs are leaving. Companies are leaving.
We have to stop them from leaving.
We want to go to work for you.
And we will make America great again.
In 1978, Illinois changed its gubernatorial elections to midterm years, meaning the next Illinois governor is elected 2 years before the next president is. Since then, Illinois has elected a governor of the same party as the next president 7 times out of 10 elections. Of the 33 states that hold their elections on a midterm year, that's tied for the best record. In the 3 elections Illinois didn't predict, 2 involved Jim Edgar, a Republican known for his centrist views, who was elected at the same time as a Democrat known for his centrist views. The 3rd election involved this guy, Rod Blagojevich, a Democrat elected before George W. Bush's 2nd term. Remember Blagojevich. He'll be important later. Now this brings us all the way to 2014. For a long time leading up to this point, Illinois' debt has been skyrocketing. The job market is recovering, but it's still nowhere near where it was before the recession. Pat Quinn is the incumbent. He's been a presence in Illinois politics for decades, has the experience, and is the establishment's consensus to be governor. Bruce Rauner, his opponent, is a self-made businessman worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but with no political experience. He wants to run the state like a business. Sounding familiar? Well, here's where things get eerily similar to 2016. Pat Quinn is tenuously tied to a political scandal he can't seem to shake. Public opinion keeps linking him to his predecessor, Rod Blagojevich. Well, after then-Senator Barack Obama was elected president, Blagojevich was arrested for trying to sell the appointment to Obama's vacated Senate seat. While Quinn had no involvement in that scandal at all, it stuck on him. Bruce Rauner is projecting himself as the end to insider politics. So what do you think happened? Rauner won. And since 2014, Rauner's time in office has been marked by a distinct lack of progress. Illinois made headlines for not having an official budget in over 2 years, after Rauner couldn't agree with the state's Democratic legislature on how to reduce their deficit. The deficit more than doubled, from $6.7 billion when Rauner was elected in 2014 to $14.6 billion in 2017, the most recent year we have numbers for. Now compare that to Donald Trump in 2016. Our national debt was an eyesore, and many people still felt the effects of the recession. We had an establishment candidate with loads of experience, but a tenuous, I repeat, tenuous, tie to scandals in Benghazi and with her email server. So along comes an outsider with no political experience, whose core appeal is exactly that, who's going to
run the country like you run a business.
And he wins. Since then, Trump has become increasingly combative, even to his own cabinet and party. The deficit has gone from $584 billion in 2016 to an estimated $832 billion in 2018. And he's forced the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. So what happened in Illinois in 2018 that gives us an idea of the road to beating Donald Trump in 2020? According to an NPR study, 74% of people from Illinois thought the state was on the wrong track leading up to that election. Real Clear Politics puts that feeling at about 54% for the whole country at the end of 2018. Debate tensions were high. Attacks were personal.
This is what's wrong in Illinois. He represents everything that's broken in Illinois.
Just not telling the truth.
So Bruce Rauner lost. To this guy, J.B. Pritzker. At first, it seemed like the Illinois gubernatorial election could give hope that Donald Trump isn't a sustainable model. but now I'm not so sure. According to a report in 2017, Bruce Rauner was worth just under $1 billion. J.B. Pritzker was worth about $3.4 billion. That even beats Donald Trump at $3.1. Pritzker even had less political experience than Rauner by the time the election came around, although neither had very much. Pritzker even refused to give specifics on any of his policy positions.
Will you tonight tell voters exactly what tax rates you favor?
Let's start with why we need a fair income tax system. Illinois has the most. I believe we need to change it.
Can we get to the rate, though?
We need to ask the wealthiest people. Governor Rauner has put forward no plan.
So to the rate, do you have a number that you favor?
This is what you should know, that the middle class should get a tax break. And they're doing far better in job creation.
Do you not want to give a rate?
Pensions, they're doing much better than we are.
And remember Blagojevich, the governor who went to jail for selling Obama's Senate seat? Well, listen to this recording of him.
Problem for you would be, same problem with the Senate, really. I've given you contributions.
No.
And what's that?
Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead, JP.
No, go ahead.
No, total non-issue. Well, first of all, you give money to everybody, like Lisa Madigan, okay?
Yeah. No.
Which, incidentally, if you can do for me what you did for her before the end of the year, can you think about that?
Mm-hmm.
But
well, I can't. I mean, not while everything's up in the air. But I hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
I hear you. And.
At the same time Blagojevich is selling the seat, Pritzker was trying to get appointed treasurer of Illinois. Nothing ever came of it, and he doesn't say anything incriminating on the recording, but it's too close for comfort. So what'll happen in 2020? Who stands a chance of beating Trump? It might be someone like Michael Bloomberg, worth $47.6 billion, who's positioning himself to do just that. In October 2018, he switched his party registration back to being a Democrat for the first time since 2001. And the $112 million he helped give to Democratic candidates during the midterms made him some friends. And he's even rumored to be willing to spend another $100 million of his own money on a presidential run. Sure, Bloomberg has experience as a 3-term mayor of New York, and he's got some progressive views, like on a woman's right to choose, same-sex marriage, or climate change. But he is big business. He oversaw racist stop-and-frisk policing in New York, and is skeptical of the Me Too movement, among other problematic positions. In a recent poll of likely Iowa caucus goers, the top Democrats that voters already had an opinion on were Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and Bernie Sanders, all previous candidates who either might not run or might not stand a good chance of winning the primary. Then Elizabeth Warren, who on New Year's Eve became the first major candidate to announce they're running. And then Bloomberg. He outranked rising Democratic stars like Beto O'Rourke, Cory Booker, or Kamala Harris, all of whom are struggling to become household names. And if 2016 taught us anything, money and name recognition are everything. In a world where the Democrats are increasingly becoming the party of diversity and representation, someone like J.B. Pritzker or Michael Bloomberg might be the best chance at winning in 2020 by being a bigger Donald Trump.